Level A1, Month 2. In this video, we're going to talk about grammar, vocabulary, business English, and some speaking topics in relation to A1. If you like, you can activate the subtitles and you can reduce the speed if necessary. Okay, let's go. Let's begin with grammar. The first grammar topic I want to talk about is there is and there are. We use there is for singular or uncountable. There is a cat, there is some milk. And we use there are for plural. The verb there is, there are means haber. Sorry. Okay. In Spanish, in present, it's I for there is and for there are. Okay, so here's a little quiz if you would like to check the use of there is, there are. For example, there is a banana on the table. Try to answer questions 2 and 3. It's plural. There are 3 windows. This one. There is a dog, because it's singular. There is a dog and 2 cats in the garden. Okay, there is, there are. The next grammar point that we're going to look at is have and have got. In English, we use them the same. Have is tener. Have got is tener. Have got is more common in UK English. That's the difference. So, for example, I have a car. I have got a car. Okay? It's the same. So, I have got, you have got, he has got a car. Next grammar point, possessives. So, when we speak about the possessive, we use apostrophe S. Okay? For example, Emma's bag means the bag of Emma. Okay? Sabrina's car means the car of Sabrina. For example, this is John's phone. Where is the teacher's desk? So if you want to do this exercise on the PDF, then you have the answers below. Okay. Next grammar point. Demonstratives. This, that, these, and those. This is singular, and it means that something is near. For example, this is my pen. Okay, it's close to me and it's singular. That is singular, but it's far. Es más lejos. That is your bag. So this is singular. These are plural. These are my pens. That is singular and those are plural. Those are your pens. Okay? So this represents este, esto, esta. That is aquello, aquel, and eso, esa. That's the difference, okay? So we only have that, whereas in Spanish you have aquel or este, or ese, sorry. Okay? So this and the plural is these, that and the plural is those. Okay? For example, in number 1, this is my friend. Number 2, over there is far. That car is red. Apples, plural, on the table. These apples on the table if the table is close. In the distance, far away, those mountains. Okay, so you can do this quiz on the PDF. Next, we're going to talk about vocabulary. The first topic is daily routines. Okay, so every day, present simple, every day I wake up. I get up. I have a shower. I get dressed. I have breakfast. In English, when we are speaking about food, we use the verbs to have. We do not say I breakfast. We say I have breakfast. We do not say I take coffee. We say I have a coffee. Okay? So I have breakfast. I go to work. I start work at 9. I have lunch. I finish work at 5. I go home. I cook dinner. I prepare the dinner, if you like. I watch TV. I exercise. I call my friends. I relax. I go to bed at 11. So those are verbs you can use for daily routine. Dormir is sleep. Okay, the next vocabulary topic is clothes. So on these pages, you will see a list of vocabulary for clothes. I'm going to say the words in English for the pronunciation, so you can follow with the screen or with the PDF. T-shirt, shirt, blouse, sweater or jumper. Sweater is more common in the United States. Hoodie, jacket, coat, cardigan. Pants or trousers. Pants is more common in the United States. Jeans, skirt, shorts, leggings, dress. Shoes, sneakers or trainers. Boots, sandals, slippers. And then we have accessories like hat, cap, scarf, gloves, belt, sunglasses, and handbag. For underwear or pajamas, we have underwear, socks, pajamas, and then we also have raincoats, swimsuit, or suit. A traje is a suit. Suit, no, suit. Be careful with the pronunciation. The next vocabulary topic is food and drink. So basics are or include bread, rice, pasta, soup, and salad. Sandwich, pizza, burger, fries in the US or chips in the UK, and egg. Meat and fish include chicken, beef, pork, fish, sausage, bacon, tuna. For vegetables, we eat potato, tomato, onion, carrot, cucumber, lettuce, broccoli, and pepper. And for fruit, we eat apple, banana, orange, strawberry, lemon, grapes, watermelon, pear. And for postre, for dessert, we can have cake, chocolate, ice cream, biscuit, be careful with the pronunciation, biscuit, or cookie is more common in the US. Sugar and honey. For drinks, we can have water, milk, juice, tea, coffee, soda, or fizzy drink. Soda is more common in the US. And hot chocolate. Here you have a quiz that you can do on the PDF, and the answers are here. Okay, so some speaking topics include describing your day. So we've already covered the verbs for a daily routine, and they include I wake up. We use then for después as a connector. Then I get up. After that, again, después. Usually, so something you do every day. In the morning, in the afternoon, in the evening. I go to work. I have lunch. I go to bed. If you're speaking with someone, having a conversation, questions are important. What time do you go to bed? The next topic of vocabulary is parts of the body. Again, you have the translation here in Spanish. I'm going to say the words in English for the pronunciation so you can follow the PDF. Okay? Head, face, hair, eyes, ears, nose, mouth, teeth, neck, shoulders, arms, hands, fingers, legs, feet, toes, back, stomach, knee, elbow. This brings us to talking about health and feelings. Okay? Healthy. To be sick, to be ill, to be healthy. We use the verb to be. I am healthy. I am sick. I am ill. I am tired. He is hungry. She is thirsty. We are hot. It is cold. Hurt. For example, my knee hurts. Also, a thirsty Daniel. I hurt my knee. Pain. I have a pain. I have a headache. I have a stomach ache. I have a cough. I have a fever. I take medicine. So before we said, when speaking about food, we use the verb to have. I have breakfast. I have a coffee. For medication, for medicine, we use take. I take paracetamol for my headache. I go to the doctor. I go to the hospital. I do exercise or I exercise. I rest. I sleep. So those are verbs related to health. Some other common verbs that we have are feel. I feel hungry. I feel sad. I hurt my knee. There's Daniel. I hurt my knee or my knee hurts. I eat lunch. I drink coffee. Sleep, walk, run, wash, take medicine, and rest. Some useful expressions when speaking about this topic can be I feel sick. I have a headache. My stomach hurts. I need to see a doctor. I'm tired. I feel better. Drink some water. Get some rest. Now we're going to move on to business English. And this month we are focusing on interviews in English. So here are some common questions and how to answer them. But first we will look at some vocabulary in relation to job interviews. Job, interview, CV or resume is more common in the US. Company, skills, abilities or skills. Prepare. Some useful sentences. I am ready for the interview. I have my CV, or here is my CV, and I want this job. So, a little more vocabulary. A question, answer, example, problem, to solve a problem. In my last job, I did, the result was, so for example, in my last job I worked in an office. I did paperwork, administration. The result was fantastic. Strengths, fortalezas, and weaknesses, debilidades. Okay, so my strength is my organization. My weakness is my lack of organization, for example. I am good at, I am bad at, I am hard working. Okay, I want to improve. Speaking about weakness. I want to improve this skill, or I am improving this skill with English classes, for example. If you are interviewing, here is some vocabulary. Candidate. Ask a question. Listen to the answer. Can you tell me about yourself? Is a common question in an interview. What experience do you have? Thank you for coming. If you are being interviewed and the question is, tell me about yourself, you can say your age if you like. I live in Alicante. I work in an office, and something you like. If it's for work, you should focus more on the work skills. It's not necessary, it depends, to talk about your personal life so much. Why do you want the job? I want this job because, or I like working in this area. I want to learn how to, for example, I want this job because I like helping people and learning English. How to answer the question, what are your strengths? I am hardworking. I am friendly. I am responsible. And try to give examples. I can work in a team. I can adapt, be flexible, learn quickly. What are your weaknesses? For this question, you need to give a small weakness, but also an example of how you are trying to improve the weakness. For example, I need to improve my English, and I am taking classes every week. Why should we hire you? And then you give the reasons. I am a good worker. I can work hard. Where do you see yourself in 5 years? What is your plan? I want to have more experience, have more responsibility, for example. Do you work better alone or in a team? Of course, the best answer is both, ambos. I can work alone and in a team. Can you work under pressure? Yes, I work well under pressure. I work fast and I am careful. Why did you leave your last job? Or why do you want to leave your last job? I want a new challenge, more experience in this area. I prefer this sector. I have finished my contract or my studies, or I need a change or a challenge or more work. And do you have any questions for us? It's important to prepare the interview and have questions for the people who are doing the interview. It shows interest. You can ask about the schedule, the training, or can you explain or help me understand, for example. And that completes the course for this month. Remember to access this PDF document on our platform. And if you want to practice activities for Cambridge, or if you want to practice these activities to help improve your English, you can click on the links directly. Also, you have some extra links to help with the grammar, vocabulary, with Cambridge, and with interviews in English.